Welcome back, the students of class 7. Welcome to our social science history class. And today we are going to discuss another subunit from your history chapter 10, from your last chapter of your history book. It is the 18th century political formations. And our today's topic is Watan Jagirs of the Rajputs. It is in page number 146. So open your book and follow. So previous class we have seen that how did the regional provinces, means different provinces, they have declared their freedom and they were emerged as some independent countries, some independent states. Now today we are going to discuss the second type of states that became emerged as independent states. These are Watan Jagir. So we have already told you that many Rajput kings, particularly those belonging to Ambar and Jodhpur, had served under the Mughals with distinction, and they also had marital relation with the Mughal emperors. So in exchange, they were permitted to enjoy considerable autonomy in their Watan Jagirs. And in the 18th century, these rulers now attempted to extend their control over adjacent areas. Raja Ajit Singh, the ruler of Jodhpur, also involved in the factional politics of the Mughal court. So Raja Ajit Singh from Jodhpur also involved in the partisan politics created in the Mughal court in New Delhi. In Delhi, Old Delhi, the capital of Mughals. So what happened at that time? These influential Rajput families like Ajit Singh claimed the Subadari of rich provinces of Gujarat and Malwa from the Mughal emperor. So Raja Ajit Singh of Jodhpur held the governorship of Gujarat, and he also received the governorship of Gujarat. And another king, that is Swai Raja Jai Singh, Swai Raja Jai Singh of Ambar, also governed the Malwa. Okay. So they got the governorship of these two important states of Mughal Empire at the time. And these offices were renewed by Emperor Jahandar Shah in 1713. So these two rulers, so their offices, means the post of governors, also extended by Emperor Jahandar Shah in 1713, just after the 6 years of the death of Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb. They also tried to expand their territories by seizing portions of imperial territories situated neighboring Malwa and Gujarat. So Nagpur was also conquered and annexed to the house of Jodhpur. Nagpur also conquered and annexed by Raja Ajit Singh and included in the territory of Jodhpur. While Ambar seized large portion of Bundi, so they also, Raja Ajit Singh also captured Nagpur and they also Bundi. These are other Watan Jagirs, but using their military forces and the turmoil condition in the center of India, a center of the Mughal emperor, they also captured these two Watan Jagirs. And Raja Jai Singh founded his new capital at Jaipur, and Raja Jai Singh also established a new city and their capital at Jaipur, and the name Jaipur was taken from the name of Raja Sawai Jai Singh. And you know, today Jaipur is the capital of Rajasthan as a wonderful city. It's called Pink City of India, and was given to the Subadari of Agra in 1722. And again, he also got the Subadari of Agra and influencing the Mughal emperors. Maratha campaigns into Rajasthan from 1740s put severe pressure to these principalities and checked their further expansion. But in 1740s, when the Maratha warriors under the leadership of Bajirao, when they extended their forces under the leadership of the Peshwas, so their expansion of states stopped, okay, and they are limited into these regions. And also Marathas also recovered a lot of the territories. They also captured some of their territories from these Watan Jagir. So many Rajput chieftains built a numerous forts also in the hilltops, which became center of power. With extensive fortification in Rajasthan, these majestic structures housed urban centers, palaces, temples, trading centers, water harvesting structures, and other buildings. And the Chittorgarh fort contained many water bodies, varying from talabs or ponds and kundis or wells. So talabs, kundis, and bauli. Bauli means the step well. Okay. So a lot of baulis, kundis, and talabs or ponds, wells, and step wells also constructed by these Rajput rulers. Okay. So next we are going to discuss about the seizing independence. Now we are going to discuss about the independent states ruled by some independent rulers, such as the Sikhs. So the Sikhs are the organization of the Sikhs into the political community. So you have read in previous chapter in Devotional Path to the Divine that how the Sikhs also created the Khalsa in 1699, which was turned into a political community, political entity. So during the 17th century, it helped in regional state building in the Punjab, the Sikh movement, and several battles were fought by Guru Gobind Singh against the Rajput and the Mughal rulers. So both before and after the institution of Khalsa in 1699, after and before establishment of Khalsa, a lot of battles they also fought under the leadership of Guru Gobind Singh. And another one, when after the death of Guru Gobind Singh in 1708, the Khalsa rose in revolt against the Mughal authority in Punjab region, and there under the leadership of Banda Bahadur. Banda Bahadur was not a Sikh Guru, but he also the disciple of Guru Gobind Singh and the leader of Sikh community. So he also, Banda Bahadur, declared their sovereign rule in striking coins in the name of Guru Nanak and Guru Gobind Singh in Punjab region, and established their own administration between the river Satluj and Yamuna. So in northern India, between the river Satluj and Yamuna, they also established their own rule in this region. Okay. And what happened after that? Banda Bahadur was captured in 1715 and executed in 1716 by the Mughal Empire, and under a number of able leaders in the 18th century, the Sikhs organized themselves into a number of bands called Jats, and later the Misl. So they also divided among some group called Misls. So their combined forces were known as Grand Army or Dal Khalsa. It is known as Dal Khalsa or Grand Army. So what happened with this army? The entire body used to meet at Amritsar at the time of Baishakhi and Baishakhi Purnima and Diwali to take collective decisions known as the resolution of the Guru or Guru Matas. So a system called Rakhi was also introduced by them. It is the name of the system, Rakhi. It is one type of tax, that is the 20% of their agricultural produce collected from the cultivators or peasants of that region, Punjab region, to protect themselves from foreign attacks such as the Rajputs and Mughal attacks. Guru Gobind Singh also had inspired the Khalsa with the belief that the destiny was to rule. Their destiny was to rule means Raj Karega Khalsa, and their neat organization enabled them to put a successful resistance to the Mughal governors. Mughal governor first, and then to Ahmad Shah Abdali. You know Ahmad Shah Abdali, the Afghan invader who had invaded India several times and had seized the rich province of Punjab and the Sarkar of Sirhind from the Mughals. So Sirhind Sarkar, a small portion, a small district of the Mughals, he also captured by Ahmad Shah Abdali, and also they plundered and seized the rich provinces of Punjab. So what happened after? The Khalsa declared their sovereign rule by striking their own coin again in 1765. But after that again they regained their power in 1765 and issuing some coin on the name of their gurus, and signifying this coin bore the name of inscription as one of the orders issued by Khalsa in the time of Banda Bahadur, and they use the same inscription as the one in the on the order issued by the Khalsa in the time of Banda Bahadur. So both the coins are very much similar. What happens? The Sikh territories in the late 18th century extended from the Indus to Yamuna, from Indus river here to Yamuna near Delhi. Okay, so in this vast territory also under the dominance of Sikh rulers. You can see this is the Kashmir, some part of Kashmir, Punjab, some part of Haryana, and today's some part of Pakistan in Punjab province. All these territories also captured by the Sikh leaders, and they were divided under different rulers. But finally, in 18th century, Maharaja Ranjit Singh reunited all these groups in 1799 and established their capital at Lahore. So in 100 years after the establishment of Khalsa in 1799, Maharaja Ranjit Singh re-established the Sikh kingdom and united all the Sikh groups under his rule, and established its capital in Lahore, situated in, it is the province also, it is the provincial capital also in Pak Punjab today. So students, that's all from the two different groups. That these are the Watan Jagirs, Rajput rulers and their independent territories, as well as the independent territories of Sikhs. Those were against the Mughal authority and they were the rebel states. So next class we are going to discuss about the Marathas, another rebel groups who established a huge empire after the declining and when the Mughal empire started declining. Okay, so thank you for watching. That's all from today's class.